Hi there, I'm Lauren and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Sweet Smiling Soul, where I talk about all things sewing. Today is part 2 of me setting up my new sewing space. So we just moved into a new apartment about a month ago, and for the first time in my life I have my very own creative space. So I'm super happy about this. In the past, for about a decade now, I've been working at a dining table or sharing the space with somebody else or working from my bedroom. And it's kind of nice now to have a dedicated sewing space where I can just get messy, make it my own, and not have to worry about packing things away. And yeah, it's a really good feeling. So I'm super grateful. Today a shelf will be arriving and I'm going to use that shelf to stack my fabric. So I'm hoping it shows up while I'm creating this video so I can incorporate that into this video and not make it a 3-part series. So yeah, waiting on that. Last night we picked up a motorized desk, so it's a standing desk, which I'm really happy about. It's going to be for my computer work when I'm editing videos, if I want to like stand up while I'm working, but it's also going to be used as a cutting table, and it's quite large, so it's I think 70 centimeters by 150, and yeah, it takes up most of the room. I'm going to show you that now. So this is the new desk, and it's, as you can see, quite big. I feel like the second half of this area will be like the cutting space, and then I'll set up my sewing machines and test that out. Otherwise, I might use this desk for sewing machines and then just use the other half of this space for my computer work. But I mean, I don't have to be so strict with where I work. I can change it up as I go. I think it's just important for me to have enough space for cutting, because that's the one thing that I really needed to change, like the way I do it, because my knees are getting sore when I'm constantly, kneeling on the floor, cutting things out and then standing up, sitting back down. It's like quite exhausting. And yeah, I think being able to make this table rise so that I can stand and cut at the same time is a game changer. So super happy about that. And when I'm sewing or when I'm working on my laptop, I can just kind of switch between the two spaces, I think, until I figure out the best way to go about things. I've taken down the curtain, and that's going to be my next sewing project. I'm going to make kind of like a patchwork curtain to hang up here. So yeah, I think it might just add a pop of colour to the space. I've got my dress mannequin here, and I have to figure out where I'm going to put the ironing board when I'm using it. I do need to get a couple more, or at least one more extension, because we've only got one power point in this room, which is behind the desk here. And because I have so many things to plug in, I think I'll need some extension cords to go around the room, just so that I can easily plug in, my laptop or the ironing board, or the iron, I mean. And so, yeah, that's something that I'll get. And I ended up moving the mirror onto the back of the door, which saves a little bit of space. So I've done that, and I think I'll move these books. We'll see. I'm probably going to get some shelves, but I'm not quite sure yet. There's still a few patches we have to paint over on the wall. So yeah, I think I am able to install some floating shelves and things, but yeah, we're just not sure yet if that's the best thing to do, just because it's a rental property. But we'll see. I'm going to talk to Lawrence about it. Maybe I can put a couple of shelves up and then display some of the craft books that I have down here. Otherwise, I'll just find another place in the house for those. This is just a box full of cables and things that I have to go through, so that's not going to be there. I can move that and create more space. So once I move the books in the box, I could probably put my ironing board here. So yeah, we'll see. And then in the cupboard, I won't open it now, but that's where I plan to put the shelf that's arriving today. And I'll stack all my fabric in there, just because there's not a lot of space. Now that the big desk is in here, I think I need to store most things, you know, in a better way than they are at the moment, because everything's still stacked in boxes inside the cupboard. So yeah, I think I should just put the shelf in there, stack the fabric, and just kind of make the most of the cupboard space. Those are my plans so far. I did get a little bit creative. It's nothing fancy, but I added some fabric to these embroidery hoops that have just been sitting in my drawer for ages. I don't really do a lot of embroidery with the hoops, so yeah, it just didn't make sense for me to just have those sitting in my cupboard. And I have plenty of fabric, so I just added a couple of pieces of floral fabric to those hoops and blue tacked them to the wall. And I'm probably going to move these just because they're in a bit of an awkward position above the desk, and I don't know, I just don't like where I've put them. I put them there before we got this other desk, so now that this desk is here, I don't know, it feels like this wall needs something, so I might put them over there. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's just a bit of random art that I put there temporarily to just make it feel a bit more like a crafty sewing room. That's the update. And now I think I'm going to unpack this new lamp that I have and attach it to the desk. It's just to give me a little bit more light, and I'll patiently wait for this new shelf to arrive, and then I'll put that together. So I'm really happy with this light. I wasn't looking for it. Lawrence just bought it for me, thinking that it might come in handy. He bought himself one too. And now I'm just checking this out. I think it's going to be good, especially on these like wintry days. You know, it's raining today in Melbourne, so you know, it might come in handy. It's got different settings. You can turn it up and down, and then there's like different kind of lights. Like that's more like a blue light, it's a warm light, and then I guess that's just like a natural light. I was hoping that that was my shelf. Not sure what time it's going to come today, but I'm really keen to get it so that I can start unpacking my fabric. So the next thing that I'm going to unpack are my scissors. I have like a jar here that I store the scissors in. I really do think that I will benefit from having a shelf of some kind so that I can, you know, put my supplies out. You know, I've seen like craft rooms on Pinterest have like this kind of board here on the wall with like the holes in the board, and you can just like hang stuff from it. I'll put a picture up to explain what I'm talking about. But that would come in handy. It's just like mounting it, I just don't know how that would work. But you know, I know there are lots of different ideas on how to store your, you know, tools and things like that in a craft room. But for now, I'm just kind of working with what I have. So I'll probably just put them back in the jar that I normally store them in, and maybe just keep them on my desk here. I'll probably put them on this desk just because this one will be going up and down all the time. And I think with the jar of stuff sitting, you know, on it, it might not be so stable. So yeah, probably gonna just like space things out a little bit and put some things over here as well. So the shelf has arrived and now I'm going to unbox it and do my best to put it together. I'm not the best at working with flat packs, but I'm gonna give it a go. And I'm really keen to just get my fabric on the shelves. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So I managed to put it together without any dramas, so I'm pretty happy with that. I am now going to place these mats on each shelf. So I'm happy that these come with it because it just means that like if nothing will kind of poke through. So, you know, I'm going to be stacking my fabric on this, and I think, yeah, the mats will just make everything kind of sit nicely. So I've got 5 shelves with a mat on each one, and it also comes with these S hooks that I can hang from the side and like hang things on while it's sitting in the cupboard. So that's cool. I think overall it's a pretty solid shelf. You can attach it to the wall, but I don't think it's necessary. It's only going to have my fabric on it really, and maybe like a small box down the bottom, but it should be pretty sturdy enough as it is. And it's also going to be in my cupboard, so I just can't see it falling. So yeah, now I'm going to start unpacking the boxes of fabric and stacking them on the shelf, and we'll see how it looks. But first I've got to get rid of all this rubbish. So Amazon, for some reason, double boxed it. I kind of think it's unnecessary, but maybe it was just to protect it. Not sure, but yeah. I've got all this rubbish just to get out of here so I have more floor space to work with, and then I'm going to take the boxes out of the cupboard and start unpacking them. So I've kind of changed my mind about where I'm going to put this shelf. It was originally going to go in here, in this space, but I kind of like the idea of it being out on displays so that I can see my fabric, and I can also stack some of the books down below, as well as my sewing boxes and, you know, things like buttons and scissors maybe. I don't know. I just feel like if I keep this outside, it'll inspire me more if I'm like constantly looking at my fabrics and they're just there, you know, as long as I can keep it neat and tidy. I think it could work. The only issue that I'm having with this idea is that my ironing board will need to be set up most of the time when I'm sewing, and I've just got to figure out where to put it. So it's already starting to get a little bit crowded in here. I want a bit of floor space so that I can walk around and maybe lay things out on the carpet every now and then if I have to measure something or do something there. But I also need some extension cords, like so that there can be more power around here, or even like along here somewhere. So I want this space to remain clear because this is going to be like my cutting area, so I kind of need to be standing there. That's why I've put the rack there. But yeah, when I need the ironing board, I just don't know. It could go in this corner, like just, and as long as I'm keeping my door shut while I'm working, it could be here. I just need to get power to come around the desk there so that I can plug the iron in. Anyway, those are my thoughts. For now, I'm going to set up this shelf with my fabrics, and if it doesn't work out, I can always move it into the cupboard like I had originally planned. So yeah, it's not going to be the end of the world. I just have to try things and see how it works. I'm not going to unpack all of this fabric. This stuff here I don't really use often, so I'll probably just keep that in the box for now. But my other smaller bits of fabric, that I color coordinated recently. I think I'm just going to display on the shelf here, and hopefully I have enough space for that fabric. We'll see. So for now I'm going to keep the shelf out. I've got my fabric here. It's just all like the scrappy small bits really. I've kept like the bulkier pieces in the cupboard, but I've also put some fabric that I want to make some clothes from out here. So I've kind of just put the fabrics that I know I want to work with and the projects that I've kind of got going on. Like these are all the Bob Dylan jacket fabrics. These are the new fat quarters that I bought recently. And yeah, I like to keep like my new stuff separate just so that I can be inspired by that for as long as possible. And yeah, just kind of color coordinated roughly for the rest of the fabric. So it doesn't look too messy, but we'll see. I think I'm just gonna test it out, see how it goes. If it starts to look messy, then I might just pop it in the cupboard. Another thing I just tried was to hang a hanging planter using one of those like adhesive hooks on the wall, and it basically just fell off within like a second of me trying to hang it on the wall. So this is the plant. It's just a spider plant that I was hoping to hang there, and yeah, it basically just dropped and put dirt all over the other plant hangers that I've got here and the printer and the carpet. And so yeah, I've got to vacuum that and not try that again. So yeah, maybe we'll need to actually put like a hook in the wall or in the ceiling so that I can have a hanging plant by the window. So that's what's going on there. But overall, I think this space is finished for now, and I think I've got everything that I need to start sewing and yeah, getting back into my creative routine. And yeah, like I said, my next project is going to be the patchwork curtain. I'm gonna order some rings for to be able to hang the curtain, and yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they'll come in the next couple of days, but I'll get started. I think that'll be one of my first sewing projects to do in my new sewing room. I know what I did wrong now. So with these kinds of hooks, you press it against the wall and then you're supposed to push the hook down to the kind of lock, and I didn't do that before adding the plant to the plant hanger, and it kind of just dropped and came off the sticker, if that makes sense. I ended up sticking it on again and sliding it down so it's locked in place, and now I'm able to hang the plant there. It's not a very heavy plant, and I've done this kind of thing before. If I haven't wanted to put like a hook in the wall or in the ceiling, I just use one of these stick-on hooks, and they usually stay in place. Like this was the first time something had ever fallen, but it was just because I didn't stick it up there properly. So yeah, I'm happy that I was able to put that there, so it feels a little bit more cozy. And yeah, I think I am done with the sewing room setup. Let me know what you think of this new sewing space. I'm so excited to get stuck into my creative projects and really make the most of this room. I'm super happy that I've got it set up and ready to go. If you enjoyed watching this video, watching me put together my new sewing room, and if you have anything to share, please comment below, like this video, share it with a crafty friend, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I'm so grateful to have you here watching. Take care, and I will see you next time.